Am I right? 16th session? Good. And today is Jan 7th, 2010. We are in the technical design aspect of the course, right? We've done the BRD, we've done the FSD. The designers are now working on it. The designers are also sometimes called the system architects. And they're also called the system architects. Hi. So system architects are senior developers who have perhaps 7, 8, 10 years of experience, and they are not programming anymore, they are designing systems. That's what system architects are. And they are the senior developers. Design happens at various levels. ER modeling is happening at the database tier. Screen mockups, also called wireframes, also called screen prototypes. This is happening at the first level, at the first tier. And then at the application server tier, which is the middle tier, we have class modeling happening. We'll cover this in more detail when we cover UML. Okay. So this is at the database tier. This is at the web server tier. This is at the app server tier. And then of course, also as a part of technical design, the entire N-tier hardware is being thought about, right? What web server will we use? What app server will we use? What database will we use? Will we use J2EE? Will we use .NET? Will we use a new platform, up and coming platform, LAMP? Have you guys heard of LAMP? Nobody has heard of LAMP? Yesterday, huh? Do you remember what it was? Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Do you find something unique about this platform, Linux, Apache? Yeah, free, exactly. It's all open source, which means that, you know, J2E and .NET are not precisely open source, right? I mean, you have to pay money somewhere along the way. With PHP is a programming language. It's a programming language like Perl, like Python. They're all in the same league, and they all start with P. Huh? Right. PHP is also for web page design. So, I mean, HTML still has to be there, but the driving force behind HTML can be PHP or Java, like JSP or ASP.NET. So PHP is like a replacement of Java or ASP, JSP or ASP. So you still need HTML though. Well, even I don't know. .NET is, of course, they're .NET certified. It's not a programming language. It's more than a programming language, because programming language behind .NET is VBScript. But then .NET is a complete set of packages and protocols, and we have a .NET programmer among us, right? Deepti, are you .NET? Yeah. It's much more than a programming language. It provides you packages and functions that programming languages don't, right? For example, for session handling, so web programmers need to be able to handle session between pages so that they know that this is the person who just put something in the cart, this is the person who just put their credit card number. So that's session management. .NET provides session management. .NET, for example, will also provide logging capabilities, as in a programmer needs to log the activities of a program. So .NET will have a logging feature. So it is a set of utilities which Microsoft has pioneered to make programming easier. So that's why it's called a platform. It's not just a programming language. It has evolved to become a bigger, bigger thing. But you don't really need to know that much about it. You're a BA. No, I know that you're always curious, which is good. It's just that, yeah, it's a programming platform. It's, yeah, so So anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is in technical design, you as in the system architects are working on the design of the system that predates the development, right? And then you're also laying out the entire architecture, okay? One thing that you also have to do for web applications is come up with a site map. You guys have heard of this term sitemap in the world of websites? Somebody must have heard of sitemap. Yeah, Meenakshi? What is sitemap? Like there's a little link that says sitemap. What does it show? It's a directory of the website. It's a tree kind of a structure that shows, okay, this is the home page. Home page has these 5 links. Then this link has these links. And then this link has these links. So a sitemap. Let's see if we can come up with a website that has a sitemap. Oh, let's see. Somebody has a question. Pamela. Oh, Pamela, I cannot unmute you because you haven't entered the PIN. But she must have a question here. Himani and Sabita are online. Let me confirm if Himani and Sabita are online. Himani and Sabita. Sabita Khadka is online and Himani Sharma is online. So answer yes. Okay, I'll drop your hand, Pam. If you have more questions, please raise your hand. Okay. Sitemap. Anoop gave some idea. Control C. Let's see. So teamf1.com. Teamf1. Ooh. Oh yeah, thank you. Makes sense. Sitemap.com. Google has sitemap, okay. So this is a website, Team F1 Inc., okay. What do? They are a company that provides embedded networking and security software for wired and wireless applications. So if I am on this particular web page, and I was, this web page is already a bit busy, it has a lot of things in it, but I wanted to get a snapshot of this website as to what are the various links and where do they go. Then I should be able to get to its sitemap. I want to be able to, let's see, can we find sitemap? Is it under, I know that he's given me the exact link, but what if I did not know the link? And what if I did not know the link? Under, oh, you see it? Okay, good, good.
Oh, yeah. On extreme right hand side.
This one, wow, smart. Very good, Yeah. So, yeah, see, this is, I guess, the symbol of a sitemap, this little thing. It's the symbol of the sitemap. I just clicked on it and it is taking, oh, there you go, see? So, in a snapshot, it tells me that this website under home has contact us, feedback, sitemap, product support. Under support, there's FAQ. Under FAQ, there's general. And then, maybe there are more links in there, but it's stopping at this level. So the good thing is if I go to a very complicated site, I go to philips.com, sony.com, they're huge sites. I just want to be able to get to something right away. It's like an index to the site, right? Why am I talking about this? Because in the design phase of your SDLC, you might have to come up with a sitemap because you have to, when I say you, I don't mean you guys. When I say you, I mean the architects, right? The architects will have to somehow lay out the layout of the site. In fact, Jaren, you're doing that exercise right now, aren't you? Right. Jaren is working on a project for somebody, for a university, where they're coming up with a brand new website for a university. and I see Jaren figuring what page will lead to what page, and that page will lead to what 4 pages and stuff like that.
Right.
Right? So he's coming up in a way a sitemap. And how do you create a sitemap? Just using Visio, for example. Let's open up day 3, guys. Let's open up day 3. Can you pass this on to Shri? And if he passes it down. Let's get to the right page where we were talking about technical design. So page 26, and then let's look at, here you go, page 30, example navigation diagram. If you take a look at it, it's in a way the sitemap, right? Because it tells you that we will have a page called claimant detail. You know, whatever this, it's just an example, right? So you don't have to worry about what it means. And then this page will have 5 tabs or 6 tabs. Claimant tab, appeals tab, overpayment tab, claims tab, image tab, pending claim tab. Claimant tab will have a page called flag detail. Overpayment tab will have these 3 things, right? I just thought of it. Maybe I should make you guys do a homework on a sitemap for your application. I mean, assuming that your application is a web-based application. If your application is not a web-based application, whose application is not web-based? Yeah, you have something about manufacturing, right? But even that, doesn't it have a web interface for its users? It does have, right? So almost everybody has a web-based. Okay, let's do some on-the-fly homework creation. So homework 6.1 ho gaya hai, homework 7. Okay, there you go. So homework 6.2. Actually, you know what? We'll do it there after this. Homework 8.1. Create a site map, also known as example navigation diagram, for the application that you are building. Create a sitemap for the application that you are building. Okay. Show me at least 3 levels of pages. All right. So yeah, just think about, for example, Naveen, who has a parking ticket management system. Naveen's project is about being able to, before driving to the Dallas Cowboys game, be able to figure out precisely what parking spot I'm going to go to. That's pretty neat. It's a good project. So there will be a home page for sure. Then it will have about us, our services, game schedule, register for account, and then our services will have other pages like self-parking. And I'm increasing the scope of your project a bit, Naveen. Maybe there's valet services, right? Then game schedule will have various pages in them, various things, right? Upcoming games, past games, right? There might be account history over here.
FAQ.
Yeah, there should be an FAQ somewhere, maybe under it. There you go, exactly. So just that's what I want you to be able to build. Be able to think about, in a way, what are you doing? You're designing your application, right? You design the application at various levels. This is at a very high level. And then each and every one of this page will have a wireframe, right? I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm just, yeah, yeah, exactly. And Visio looks like a most obvious choice, but maybe you guys can Google and see how to create a site map in Dreamweaver, in SharePoint, how to get a site map for my website, right? So just see if you can. A lot of information out there. If you are an e-commerce site, it is very important to have a site map, because people who come to your site want to be able to get directly to the thing they want to buy. They don't want to navigate through 5 pages. So they'll go to the sitemaps page of your website and then zero in on what they want to buy, right? So it's good to have sitemap for that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm sure that almost, it depends upon the creator of the site. For example, if a company has not thought about it, then they'll not have it. But I would think it's a good practice to have sitemap. So again, Wells Fargo is huge. God knows how many lines of businesses they have. So rather than me trying to navigate or search, I go to sitemap and zero in on what I'm trying to get to. So I'm get to, tools and calculators or vSafe product or employment opportunities, I can get to it. So that's the advantage of having a site. Right. So yeah. So again, the point is that all these are aspects of the design of the application. We have moved from the business requirements and the functional requirements, and now we are thinking about the design of the application. And there are various aspects of design. ER modeling is design, screen mockups is design, class modeling is design, laying out the n-tier architecture is design, laying out the sitemap is design. Design takes a lot. I was talking to Godhuli yesterday, and we were just having a discussion. I was saying that if I had to choose one aspect of SDLC that I thought was most important, how this concept, requirements, design, development, acceptance, I would say that design is perhaps the most important aspect, because that's where your application is. It's a framework of your application. But then I'm sure that somebody else could say, no, development is most important. But that just depends on your perspective, if you had to choose one. So next page on day 3, which is page 31. This is an example of a wireframe.
What is wireframe?
We talked about it yesterday. Wireframe is the layout of a web page.
Okay.
It's a rough layout of a web page.
Okay.
It's a screen mock-up, right? So
giving you the blueprint of
the page. Okay. Yeah, and then actual content creators get in and put the actual content in there. And you create wireframes using Dreamweaver, for example.
Right, I got it.
Yeah, using Photoshop, using Visio. So this is a wireframe. What is it a wireframe for? Perhaps looks like a survey. It's a wireframe for a customer survey. See, it has like a company logo. It just says company X. It doesn't care about what it is. The actual creator will go in and make it whatever company. It has some menus. And then it just has some question, right? In the actual survey, these things will become actual question and actual answers. So just a design aspect. Yeah, it's used, yeah. Exactly. And the end users and stakeholders might say, don't even bother us, just go ahead and do it. You know, sometimes end users and stakeholders want to be totally hands-off. They're like, you know what, we've told you what we want. Don't bother us every step of the way. Just go with it and show us the final thing. So page 32 is another wireframe. And just a wireframe of a screen that takes some input from a user. And just a wireframe. This is also a wireframe. Page 33. It's a wireframe. High level. It looks very close to the actual screen, right? We already talked about traceability matrix, right? You guys also did a question on it in the quiz. I haven't, if I haven't returned your quiz so far because I haven't gotten to it, but I think I've gotten to about 60 to 70% of it. Class पढ़ा रहा हूँ. No problem. Thank you. Bye. Call करूँगा. Okay, good. Done with one more chapter. Somebody had asked me a question and I told them to bring it up in class. I think it was Himani. Aarti Shilidar, right. Andrea, class पढ़ा रहा हूँ. Saying, is this about the H1, right? You know, Sheena called me last night and I was not able to take her call. It's okay to call Sheena directly if you have her number. Later on, coordinate at 12. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Aarti, did you have any questions that you wanted me to cover?
No, not really. Sorry.
I thought you did. Source link.
Oh, about yesterday's quiz, actually.
Ah. No, this one. I think this is what I replied to, right? That bring it up in class.
Yeah.
One of the criteria for placement is based on the quizzes. But what if the candidate scores are not satisfactory? To be honest, today's quiz was a little tough for me. I did not do well. I read about Web 2.0 but did not know how to put it in writing. Can you please elaborate on this question and other questions like SLA as to what is expected? It is very hard to write even though plenty of info is available on the internet. Thank you very much. Good. That's a very good question. So I think your question has various questions in it. Number one, just because you did bad in one quiz doesn't mean you're out of the game. Of course not. That would be silly, right? But if you've consistently done poorly in every quiz, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 2 out of 10, that is a problem, right? But it's okay, like, you know, 8, 9, 8, 9, 4. Just having a bad day, came to the quiz late, whatever, right? So, okay, so that part has been answered. And then, of course, one more thing, if you remember, in the very first end, some of you guys may not have seen that because you guys joined along the way. Quiz is just one aspect of your the overall placeability, right? There are various aspects of your placeability, okay? Attendance in class to me is pretty important. You know, I see, for example, Madhvi lives in Napa, no, Petaluma, right? She still makes it an effort to come every now and then just to stay fresh, to, you know, remind us that she's there and, you know, just shows motivation, right? And then some people live in Sunnyvale and they don't show up for whatever reason, right? I mean, you can always have excuses. No car, one car, husband takes a car. But then I'm sure there's some people coming from Sunnyvale by bus. You know, you one of them? bus, right? So to me, that shows motivation because, you know, as an instructor, I care to see you in class. And if you're taking the pains to come here, it gives me, when Pamela and Amy and Varsha ask me, Alok, who should I send? They always keep asking me, who should I send? Who should I send? And these are the things that come to my mind. Who should we send? Paying attention. I think I don't have this problem in this batch. Everybody pays a lot of attention. I've had classes where people, I can tell they have BlackBerry, iPhone, texting, you know, chatting on Gtalk and all that. So I don't have that problem here. Taking plenty of notes. When I see you scribbling, I guess maybe it's something to do about self, you know, flattery or something that people are writing what I'm saying. But, you know, I say so many things. And then Aarti, this kind of answers your question. If you take plenty of notes, you will have an idea about what to say. You know, if I'm saying something about Web 2.0, you're just listening, tomorrow you'll not remember. But if you're writing it down and then going home and, you know, making a fair copy of it, you will have less of a problem talking about Web 2.0. So yeah, going back and then imagining what questions will be asked of you in an interview or in the quiz. It was funny. Deepti Bhandari, I gave her 0 points out of, you know, for 2 questions because I asked her what is ER diagram and another question, what is web, what was the other question, Deepti? Deepti contested my ruling. She said, Alok, you were unfair in giving me 0 because she said, okay, ER model and regular expression. She says, actually, some questions were obvious that you will put in the quiz from the last 3 lectures. I learned these exact definitions either from the internet or from your notes. And her answers were just absolutely the way Wikipedia shows it. So I think somebody who's actually honest would contest my ruling of, you know, giving them 0 for a Googled answer. And I relented. I said, okay, if you indeed did not Google and had memorized it, I'm impressed. And I gave her 2 more points. But anyways, I'm digressing. The point I'm trying to make is when you take plenty of notes, and what was I doing yesterday with Godhali, right? If for those of you who were with my 2-hour call on Godhali and with Geetanjali, when you are going for an interview, we look at the position description that we got. And then looking at the position description, I am asking Godhali, Godhali, this question can be asked of you tomorrow. In fact, right now she's interviewing. Tell me about your experience with deploying web application. So Aarti, you can't come up with these answers on the fly. It's impossible. You've got to have to gone through the effort of writing down an answer and understanding it, right?
Yeah.
What is your experience with user interface development lifecycle? If you were just asked this question out of blue, there's just no way that you can say something. But then we spent about 20 minutes on this question yesterday and we came up with this answer. So what is the difference between QA and UAT? Again, we talked for almost 20 minutes about this, right? Tell me about your interaction with system architects. We talked a lot about what was your interaction with it, right? So then the point is, it is a very difficult process, Aarti. I do not expect that you would be able to just say about Web 2.0 on the fly if you haven't thought about it before. And that's how you prepare for quizzes as well as for interviews where these write-ups are very important. That's what I call write-ups, right? So you have a project on your resume. You have this project on your resume, right? LinkedIn, you did something about LinkedIn, making it more Web 2.0-ish, and you added, you know, wikis and blogs and, you know, RSS feeds and stuff like that. It's not enough to just put this on your resume and say, okay, I'm ready for interviews. You've got to have supporting material for it. Which kind of enterprise search platform did you use? Now, you know, there's Fast ESP, there's Coveo, there's Google Appliance. You know, there's no way you can get that just like a dream, right? You've got to study. So
Okay.
there you go. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
That
Thank
you have to have thought about it beforehand and written it down. So So anyways, let me continue this very, spoken English, written English, obvious, right? Punctuality to classes, being here, Rachna is here every day at 8:50. That's impressive. But then Rachna is not on my calls. That's not impressive. And Rachna, I already told Rachna, how come you're never on my call? And then Kusuma and Jyoti and Rajiv and Naveen and Vinod and Jaren are there. That again, I know you have your reasons, but then it will come to my mind when they're asking me about next candidate. Then I would say Rachna perhaps hasn't been ready yet. She, so you know about, what did I talk about yesterday that you said now I know? I talked about something, LAMP. At least now you knew about LAMP, So the point then is, please be there during my class sessions I'm conducting. Interaction in class with instructor, I think almost all of you guys are pretty interactive. I like that. Timeliness of questions in class, that has not been a problem in this class. In a few classes, people take me in a completely different direction. I'm talking about topic A, and a question will pop up about topic B. I'm like, why is this question even being asked right now? And that got annoying, not just to me, but to other class members. So I put that as a, criteria. And then excitement level, it's all about optimism. It's about your demeanor. Do you come across as a constantly whining? Or are you a cheerful person, an excited person, good outlook, and nobody can beat Jaren for that, right? Jaren is like height of optimism, height of excitement, height of, he's got a chirpiness in his voice. That again, BA material, right? Helpfulness towards class members. Many times I've asked you guys to help people who are joining late. So quiz and homework, as you can tell, is only 30%. So Aarti, not to worry if you didn't do well in one quiz out of 6. It perhaps only contributes 2% to your overall placement worthiness, right? I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Good. Excellent, guys. You guys don't need this, right? Or you do? You got it already? You have it already? Perfect. Maybe older class had it, but a lot of people have joined along the way. Weighted average of various traits towards placeability. I don't even think there's a word like placeability. I just made it up. There you go. Okay. Jyoti, there's no fixed answer. Sometimes people have done miserably in quizzes, but then they've got some other skill, or they are just so persistent, and they are here every day. After the class is over, they're here every day. These marketing people are looking for a guy to submit, and that person is right here. I remember Jyoti Chaudhary used to be here all the time, right? Vaibhav and Tusharno. That's the most obvious choice. This person is here. Let's help them make a resume. Let's get this out. So I don't think there's any, but I would say B or a better. Overall, 8 out of 10. I mean, overall would be good. So, questions? Yes, a project writer for each and every project would be good. Because that again, that's where you put down your thoughts in writing about that project. So, because you never know, the interviewer might start from the very first project on your resume. Mostly they start from the latest project, but they might be scanning through your resume and say, oh, you worked in Expedia, and he's worked in Expedia. So, you suddenly might get to the 4th project. So to be most prepared, you should have all the project write-ups. It's difficult to come up with scenarios, and that's where, that's why I wrote to somebody yesterday, Nabina Panta, the most intense 2 months of training and 2 months of resume preparation and interviews. Yeah, but once you give time, the scenarios start popping up in your head. With my help, with your own help, we'll talk along the way. It's not like after this class is over, no interaction. You've seen that. You're always on my call. That's where we come, like yesterday. Were you there for stored procedures? say something. Right, right. Yeah, I know. So, sometimes I'm so preoccupied with the person I'm talking to, I ignore everybody else. But like yesterday in our preparation with Gitanjali, we came up with a scenario for what kind of store procedure she could have written over and over again. Yeah. Yeah. So, EMR. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, Neha, question.
Yeah, just going back to the quiz that you gave in yesterday. And my understanding of the Web 2.0 question that you asked the whole class was to do with a project, but I think you sent an email about Madhuri's quiz and how she was really good at it. But however, I felt that the question was asking about the project, not just the Web.2 technology definition and what it means altogether. Would you agree on that, or am I just misreading or reading too much into the question?
So the question that Neha asked is, I had asked one question and she thinks that, for example, Madhavi gave an answer which was not relevant or which was not exactly suited to the question I asked. But the point is,
exactly.
So the point is that happens in interviews all the time. An interviewer asks a question and the interviewee perceives that question something else and gives a different answer. But then that's, normal human behavior, right? I'm talking, you are thinking I'm asking something else and you give me something else. So in real conversation, I can correct you and say, no, that's not what I meant. I meant to ask this. In a quiz, I do not have that opportunity, nor does she have the opportunity. So based on whatever I heard, I liked it. So there's no one right or wrong answer. One thing you'll notice about this class and about me, Neha, is there is no black and white. It's all shades of gray. How right or how wrong you are, is, that's where you get 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1. And I generally do not even like to have discussions on why did such and such answer deserve a 1 and I only got a 0.6. We should just...
Oh, no.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah, the only reason I was saying was I thought that the question was routed from a project-oriented point of view, not just what is Web.2. That's all what I mean.
Got it. Yeah. Let me open up. I don't even remember what Madhvi had written.
It was a beautiful answer, but I thought it was just what Web 2.0 is. That's what I mean. When I read the question, I thought you need to explain the kind of project from the project point of view. That's all.
No, you are absolutely right. I did mean, when I asked this question, I was hoping you would give me your specific experience with Web 2.0.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I completely agree with it. But whatever and that's why she didn't get a 1. Did anybody get a 1 for this? Anybody got a Web 1.0 for this question? Raise your hand if you did. No. Neha, have I returned your quiz yet?
No, I didn't do it because this quiz had 4 questions from the previous session which I didn't attend. So
got it.
Yeah. The matrix, traceability matrix and stuff, I didn't do that.
Cool. Okay, good. But you're absolutely right, Neha. The question was about specific, that's always true in interviews also. In interviews, they ask you, tell me about your Web 2.0 experience. Ideally, you should have thoughts about how you use Web 2.0 in your projects. For example, in LinkedIn, I did this. In Expedia, I did this. We did this Ajax program to pull out the city names for origin and destination, like stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And not just say it gives you the type ahead feature. So,
got it.
Thank you. All right. Okay, day 4, guys. Day 4. Oh no, let's look at this. What does the syllabus tell us to do next? What does the syllabus tell us to do next? This one? No. Yeah. Right, right, right. I don't have the ability to show CBS, RCS, Visual Source Safe for clear case. What I meant by this is, let me actually correct it. Discussion of real world tools. See, again, realize that first of all, I don't have the ability to show you real world configuration management tools. Secondly, perhaps even in real life, you will not be working with the configuration management tool, right? You will have a configuration manager, a build manager who will be managing your code. And you'll just be telling him, hey, you guys know what a configuration management system is, right? Or source code. Rational Rose is not a configuration management system. It's a UML authoring tool, which we will cover in class. But yeah, source code control system like RCS, like CBS, like Microsoft Visual Source Safe, like IBM ClearCase. They're all like, just like there is a car and the different types of cars, right? Same thing with source code control systems. These are just various brands of the source code control system, right? And actually, if you want to play with it yourself, download free RCS. RCS is free on your computer and play with it, right? But anyways, what is this? It's a mechanism where developers can check in code. It's a repository where code can be checked in mostly through the check-in command. And then they check out the file using the checkout command. The advantage of having a source code control system is what? Just for safety, in case your laptop or your machine crashes, your code is still in a repository. And this is called the repository. These are all repositories, right? And the advantage also is you can see how the same file changed over time, how the same file is changing over time, who's changing what file, what lines are they adding, what lines are they deleting. That's what a source code control system is, right? Does anyone want to take this as a homework and then do a presentation here tomorrow where you download RCS on one of these machines, whoever is up for it? And it's really simple, you'll just go on a website and say download. Why is everybody looking at Naveen and Jaren? Right, download RCS. It's a revision control system. Again, it's not really needed, but since Madhavi asked, and it would be good to see something different, right? So, or download RCS or download CVS. Thank you. Revision control system, concurrent versioning system. It's not CVS pharmacy. It's source code control. Just download it. It will give you an interface. Check in a file. Create a file, check it in. Check it out, make some changes. Check it back in. Check it out, make some changes, check it back in. And then you can look at the history of the file. That Vinod created this file at 12:50 p.m. on Jan 7th. At 1 p.m. he checked out the file and made these 3 changes. Simple. And I hope you can visualize it. But if not, Vinod is offering to concurrent versioning system. Yeah, these are all version control systems. They're also called source code control systems, also known as version control systems. Right? So, yeah, you'll do it on this whenever you can get it, hopefully by tomorrow, if not, then by Monday. And then we'll hook up GoToMeeting and this projector to that machine, or whichever machine you're on. See if you can do it here so it's closer to. Okay, good. Yeah, let's just get to day 4, guys. Let's just get to day 4. Build or buy decision. The most important topic in day 4 is SDLC. Lot of questions and interviews are about software development lifecycle methodologies. Which SDLC is your favorite SDLC, they'll ask you. What do you think is the problem with the waterfall methodology? What do you like about Agile? What do you like about RUP? And these are the kind of things they'll ask you. So, but before that, we'll talk about, these little things. Okay, so day 4, material. So when you are say you are a group, IT group, you are working on creating a software. A software has multiple parts, right? Just like a car has multiple parts, software has multiple parts. Of course, you don't have to build all these parts in-house. You don't have to build all these parts in-house, right? Just like a car company doesn't build all its parts in-house, right? They might build a few things in-house, but then they might get the seats from a vendor, from a supplier. They might, subcontracting, exactly, right? Vendors. Same outsourcing. Same thing with a software group, with an IT group. When they're working on a software, they might outsource a part or all of their development effort, all of their software creation effort. So if you are a project manager of this group, how would you decide which vendor should provide you what part? And that's because you want to use the right choice. What's it, Pucha? Okay. Right? So what does the project manager do? Project manager floats an RFP. Like in India, we call it tender. Right? Tender bharte hain. Request for proposal. RFP is request for proposal. So what is an RFP? An RFP is a document, simple document that describes what we want to achieve and what are we looking for from our vendor or supplier. The RFP doesn't have to be just for a product. It can also be for a service. For example, say we are coming up with that Indian ethnic clothing line, right? And we are coming up with an e-commerce application to sell Indian clothes online. I might want to outsource my entire warehouse. I don't want to think about where will I store my clothes. I just want to get my clothes from somewhere, from my from Saharanpur in UP. That has a big clothing industry, right? And then Punjab also has. In the south, where is a lot of clothes developed,
Chirala.
Chirala. Okay. I know when I was in UP, Saharanpur used to be like the big hub of textile and clothing and stuff like that. Anyways, I want my clothes to come from India or wherever. I want them directly to go to the warehouse. I don't want it to even see it. And then, so I'm in a way, I'm outsourcing my warehousing capabilities, right? So then I might float an RFP to see, okay, which company should I use for warehousing, right? What are some of the usual suspects that I might think about? I mean, which companies will I be thinking about for warehousing?
Those were done warehousing.
Huh?
Those were IT warehousing.
Yeah, but I'm asking about specific names. That'd be good to know, right? Then maybe that's the kind of research you have to do. So if you do have a project on your resume that talks about RFPs, and you have an e-commerce application in your resume, then you might think about what warehousing company did we use. See, again, that's the research that you have to do in preparation towards an interview. They're also called fulfillment houses. Have I talked about this before? No? If you Google the term fulfillment house, Google the term fulfillment house, see, there's a company called United FSI. It says, you've sold it, so we have sold the dress. Let this company fulfill it, which means they want to be our warehousing, they want to be our shipping and packaging company, right? A fulfillment house is a company specializing in product fulfillment services, circular definition. But what that means is on behalf of the product owner. And fulfillment means the ability to host it, ability to package it and ship it. That's what it is. So a typical warehousing function.
Hello, can you please frame out this question in terms of SDLC or software packages? Like how it may be asked.
How it may be asked in interviews. So as I said, say you have an e-commerce application in your resume. Say you said that I'm working for Intuit. And Intuit has a very popular software called TurboTax. No, is in TurboTax from Intuit?
Yeah,
Huh? So now Intuit might have outsourced its warehousing to a second company. And yeah, let's talk about this. Okay, so let's see that you are some kind of deviating from RFCs, right? It's a one-off topic. So this is Intuit selling TurboTax. Okay. We are all buyers, millions of buyers. We are logging into the website and ordering our copies of TurboTax, especially now because the tax season has begun. This is a, let's get a UPS. UPS is a fulfillment house. Have I talked about this book, The World is Flat? No, what did I say? Is that the name of the book? By Thomas Friedman or Friedman? World is Flat. Okay, somebody has read it at least. Yeah, you have, Rajiv? It's pretty cool book. If one book you should read. Did I get the name right?
Yeah.
And is it? The World is Flat. Amazing book about IT. And in a very story-like manner. It is not complicated. It is like story-like manner. You know, amazing revelations you have about everyday world things that we do. There's a couple of McDonald's in America which are so busy that they have like multiple drive-through windows, 6 drive. So you drive into a McDonald's window, person taking your order is in Philippines. You are in Kentucky or wherever, you know, this very busy McDonald's is. The person who's saying, how can I help you, is actually sitting in Philippines. In India too, for example, but this particular example said that. UPS, we think of UPS as the brown truck. Oh, it's, what do you call it, a shipping company. They've got amazing amount of other businesses that we don't even know of. Toshiba, for example, used to have problems with their laptops. And people used to call Toshiba and say, oh, my laptop has a problem. What would they do? They'll have a UPS guy go to the customer, pick up the laptop, ship it to Toshiba. Toshiba people will work on it. They will give it back to UPS. UPS will give it back to customer. So then Toshiba and UPS said, you know what? Hey, UPS, why don't you take over our laptop fixing business? So UPS came up with a little group of people, employees of UPS, who are actually fixing Toshiba laptops in UPS facilities. So they've removed one whole, you know, step of shipping and getting back. So UPS, you think of it as a shipping company, but they actually have a laptop fixers, or whatever is the right word, technical guys, right? who are fixing Toshiba laptops right in the facilities and then shipping it back to the customer. So the point that I'm trying to make is that's the kind of revelations you have when you read this book, The Volume. It talks about the supply chain management, a very, very interesting topic of Walmart. How does Walmart always keeps its shelves stocked, with the latest products? You never see things running out. Almost never I've seen a Walmart. They're leader in supply chain management sort of technology. So anyways, this was all one-off thing within a one-off thing. Okay. So anyways, UPS is a fulfillment house, right? So I have just went and bought a TurboTax software on the website. UPS also has a server. The moment I bought, an order went from Intuit to UPS, like an XML file. And you don't know about XML yet, but imagine it's like a, hey, UPS, Vinod Guhe just bought software on our website. He's paid full price for it. Please ship it. UPS says, okay, I got it. You want a copy of TurboTax shipped to Vinod Guhe. So this XML file has details about the order. Over here, maybe a clerk or somebody picks up that order, walks up to the shelf, picks up packages and ships. Right? Maybe that picking up and shipping thing is also now automated. It's not a physical clerk, but maybe a machine that goes and picks up and ships. It's an amazing amount of automation. So yeah, that's what fulfillment house is. You just need to have a technical communication between the two servers, right? This server and that server, that a sale has just been made and therefore please fulfill it. So there's really not much to it. So anyways, yeah, I just want to know which is one of the world's biggest fulfillment houses. Let's see. Biggest fulfillment houses. Fulfillment companies may ease the shipping burden for e-commerce. That is correct. Mail Bay Area fulfillment, right? Looking for some big name. Prolog Logistics. IFS Solutions. Yeah, I'm looking for some big names, but not able to come up with some big names. Anyways, maybe you can do that research on your own. Okay, so coming back to RFP. What is an RFP? An RFP is a document that you as a PM will float to the potential suppliers, potential vendors, that tells them what are you looking for, and then what will the suppliers do when they read that RFP? They will send you back what? A proposal. Simple. You are sending an RFP, a request for proposal, and hence they're sending you a proposal. What will their proposal contain? The details about what they can do for you. The price of the services or the product, the support they will provide, exactly, the timeline of their deliverable, when will they deliver this, the technical specs of their solution, right? We'll also perhaps have some things about how great their company is, right? In a proposal, of course, you want to sell, right? You want to, because the company, the client, which has sent an RFP, has gone out to multiple suppliers, right? Supplier 1, supplier 4. Will all the suppliers give you back proposals? No, maybe a couple suppliers are not interested. Either your RFP is too complicated for them or it's too simplistic for them. They don't touch business less than $10 million, right? So then some people will send you back the proposal. A proposal comes back, proposal 4, proposal 1. So then the client will read these proposals and then accordingly choose a vendor and say, okay, you are the chosen supplier for our services or our products that we need, right? So that's what this topic is all about, build or buy. So page 1 talks about the same thing we talked about, right? Page 2 says the IT team will likely contract with other organization to develop all or part of the system, right? So the company which is requesting services is called the buyer or the client, and the company providing the goods or services is called the seller or the vendor. Hello. Good, how are you? I'm teaching a class. I'll have to call you back, but congratulations. I'll call you back. Total, okay. If somebody ever asks you, this is who had this interview just a couple of days ago, build versus buy. I was talking about this with somebody, build versus buy. Who are the few people who went for interviews a few days ago? Ragini. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't even look. It doesn't matter. But I just saw a few days ago that one of the bullet points in the requirement was we need a project manager who can help us analyze build versus buy decision, right? So this particular page 3, is about how does a company, how does a buyer decide whether they should build this service in-house or they should just go ahead and buy it, right? So the most obvious thing is TCO, total cost of ownership. That's an acronym which is very popular. Total cost of ownership, right? Total cost of ownership talks about not just the initial procurement cost, but also the cost which happens over time. A lot of times we get fooled about, say, printers. You go and buy a printer. Oh, this is only $30 printer. What you don't realize is a $30 printer perhaps has the printer, what do you call it? The cartridge that is $80 and it gets over every 30 days versus a $150 printer that gives you much more pages per cartridge. So we're thinking about the initial cost of 30 versus 150, but not thinking about the TCO over time. So the same thing, a company has to decide if we build this product in-house, what is our cost versus what is our cost if we just go ahead and buy it from somewhere, right? So availability of workforce skills, what does that mean? That means you might be tempted to build something in-house if you can get people who can do that work for you. If not, then you just have to resort to a supplier, right? Do you have any advantage in doing this in-house, competitive advantage, right? Which means that, Walmart, for example, is well known for its supply chain management software, and they've done it all in-house. Which are some big supply chain management software companies? SAP. Exactly. PeopleSoft, Oracle, JD Edwards, Bond. Yeah, now they've Bond. Right? These are all companies out there that provide supply chain management software. But Walmart said, you know what, forget this. We are going to build our own in-house supply chain management. Because I think they got into it even before these companies came into existence. And then they just kept growing the homegrown system. That's because none of these softwares can perhaps give Walmart exactly what they want, because their needs are so tailor-made to whatever their needs are, that they said, you know what, we're just gonna keep doing this in-house. So they went with the build decision, build decision and not the buy decision, right? So yeah, these are all again very theoretical stuff, right? It's all just for your FYI, right? It's common sense. We do this all the time. If you have to paint your house, you'll have two choices. Either you go and do it yourself, which is build, or you give $400 to somebody and buy. But then something is, advantage. You might have such special requirements in your mind that you want the shading to be done in such a way that I'll just do it myself. So it's everyday thing. There's nothing really technical about this. It's all theoretical, right? And by the way, let me ease your anxiety if you're already anxious. You, as a BA or a PM, is barely involved in this, because most companies have a vendor management group. Most companies have a vendor management group or a contracts management team where there are experts who are good at writing RFPs, evaluating proposals. Like everything else in your career, you should have idea about this, so that when somebody says, we need your help in writing an RFP, you know what the heck is being asked of you. It doesn't mean that you, the PM, is deciding the fate of 20 suppliers. Of course not. You don't have that kind of bandwidth. It's not required from you. Once you have decided on a supplier, you have to decide what type of contract should you negotiate with them, right? What kind of contract should you negotiate with them, right? There are various types of contracts, and they are all, again, common sense, right? You need a house built in India. You get some laborers, a prime contractor, and then you tell him, you know what, boss, I'm just going to give you 20 lakh rupees for this work. What they call theka, right? For people from the north, we call it theka. Theka means it doesn't matter to me whether you finish this house in 6 months or 12 months. 20 lakhs is all I give you. So now it is the contractor's duty to manage his subcontractors. Or the other thing that we use, it's a very hardcore Hindi word, dihadi. Have you guys heard of dihadi? Nobody has heard of dihadi except me.
You heard about Supari?
Supari. Nobody has heard of dihadi. Anybody on the phone has heard of dihadi? Raise your hands. Somebody's heard of it. Must be from UP. Neha, where are you from? Neha?
Delhi, I have heard of it. Yeah.
Where are
You
you
use that
from?
word. Delhi.
Delhi. See, not people have heard of dihadi. Then dihadi, they also call it dihadi. Dihadi, right? You have heard of it. Dihadi means on a daily basis you get 70 rupees, Mr. Laborer. Whether you're smoking BDs outside or digging my, foundation, I still pay you 70 rupees. So when you have a dihadi kind of a labor, then you as a client has to closely manage their time and watch their time, right? So again, same thing with suppliers. Even though it's a world of IT, when I say you, again, the contracts management team or the vendor management team, there's these major discussions going on. How will we pay you for your services? Will we just pay you firm fixed price, is give us this, or are we gonna report your time to us and we're gonna pay you, say, 70 bucks an hour? So most of you guys, when you go for your projects at clients, you're going for the unit price contract, right? Because you work 8 hours a day, you get paid 8 hours times something. And if you only work 4 hours that day, right? Companies like Infosys and TCS, they most of the time they get firm fixed price contracts, which means they say, hey, go ahead and build this warehouse system for us. We'll pay you $10 million. And then TCS and Infosys manage their resources so that they're still profitable, right? So firm fixed price, So there you go. And then again, when my wife did a project management certificate course from Berkeley, there's a whole 10 weeks course about contracts management. What we are covering in 20 minutes, there's a 30-hour course for her for contract management. So again, you can almost any topic in this world, you can keep delving deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Hi, Himani.
Hi, I just raised my hand to tell about the Bihari part.
Yeah. Where are you from, Himani?
Delhi.
Delhi. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Goody. I'm sure you guys call Bihari something in your part of the world. Theka is okay. Theka is like firm fixed price. So no, nothing for Dihadi in your parts of the world. Nothing. Like on a daily basis, you beta, beta,
Not beta, but beta. Beta, beta.
beta, beta. Okay. Got it. Cool. Excellent, excellent. Is it about Shefali? Is this also about Dihadi?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
thank you.
I just
Thank you.
didn't-
Thank you. Okay, good. Excellent, guys. Again, I don't want to get into all this about which is a good contract for you as a client, which is a good contract type for you as a supplier. Again, 30-hour discussion. We can keep going into it. Fixed price, a lump sum payment, right? Unit price is paid at a preset amount per unit of service, per hour of service, blah, blah, blah. If somebody asks you this question, you are evaluating a proposal. What criteria will you have to evaluate the proposal? Well, again, you might, for example, say, you know what, the technical sophistication of the solution has 35% weightage, which means you are saying as a client, I'm going to give 35% weightage to the technical prowess of the solution. I'm going to give 25% weightage to the management team behind the supplier. I'm going to give 30% weightage to the cost. Cost is a big factor. I should not accept something which is way out of my league. And then the background of the company or the background of the supplier is about 10%. Right? Yeah. And then it says that if you are a client, you should ensure that every potential supplier receives the same information prior to you selecting the final vendor, which means no bribery, no greasing the palm. Everybody gets the same information so they can all act on it in a fair manner, and then you choose based on the best possible solution for you, right? Common sense, really, common sense. Then just a lot of, just theory pages, read through them, guys, right? When I just I'm skipping through pages, you read through them, right? Simple stuff. Next thing is, let's talk about, somebody had asked, organizational leverage is again, it's a MBA type term, so I conveniently skipped over it. MBA type people keep using the term leverage a lot, right? Organizational leverage means if you have something in your organization that gives you an edge, that lets you lean upon something, then you go with the build decision. Organizational leverage means, what does that term mean, leverage? Leverage means something about a power, right? Power you have. So it's basically saying you might want to choose to build something if something in your organization favors you to build it, right? So let me think of an example. When Google came up with Google Earth, right? When Google came up with Google Earth, you know about Google Earth, no? We all have played with it to look at our homes from satellite. Did Google have any organizational leverage to do this in-house, or did they have to, for example, go to NASA for it, right? So maybe Google at that time had hired 10 NASA engineers before, as an example, right? So now they had the organizational strength to tap into these resources to do this project in-house. Otherwise, they would have to go out to a third party like NASA or something. So just a random example.
So control.
It's like, yeah,
Control influence.
influence, right? Anything that you have in your organization that influences you to do this in-house. Right. So yeah, not very important, by the way. If my answer was not very convincing to you, then forget about this. It's not even that important. So. Okay, the one thing that among this, okay, the next topic here is starting on page 10, software development standards. Page 10, software development standards. Okay. Almost in every field of work, almost in every profession, there are standards, right? For example, I remember when I was a kid, I used to hear this ad about pressure cooker, right? And in pressure cookers, almost always used to say something about ISO, what certified, 2001, ISI, and then what was, they used to have a number after that, no?
9001.
No, it was just
ISI mark and ISO something, 9001 something. That gave me, when I saw pressure cooker with this, that gave me assurance that this cooker will not blow up on me and I will not be maimed for life, right? When, oh yeah, when we used to buy sweaters in India, I remember that Woolmark sign. Is that Woolmark sign still big in India? Or it's only in my time? You guys do? Okay, yeah, when I was growing up, whenever I would buy a sweater, my mom buy a sweater, she'd always look at the label and say, oh, this has the Woolmark sign. It was like a sign like this that proved roosted bundle of wool. Yeah, exactly. That would give us the, yeah, this is 100% wool. That used to be the mark of 100% wool, right? Right, bed sheets, exactly. But but then there has to be a mark. Otherwise I can just make a 100 count bed sheet and say it's 400 count. But there has to be a certifying agency. That's what standards is all about. It's about having agencies out there who certify you that yes, you are indeed a very standardized organization. One of the well-known standardizations is CMM. If you as a software development company get CMM certification, it elevates your status. It tells the world that you are a software development group that follows best practices of software development. And in fact, there are 5 levels of certifications. CMM level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you apply for CMM certification, for example, and you get CMM 1 or 2 or 3, you pretty much failed it. This is not really like a good thing to say, I'm CMM level 1. That's actually a failing grade. This is what you guys are aiming for as a software development group. So you will see sometimes company name, a CMM level 5 company, right? Which ones? A lot of companies, CMM level 5 companies. In fact, out of the last I read a year ago or so, out of the 131 CMM level 5 companies, 110 were Indian companies. Lionbridge is also a CMM level 5 company. All your usual suspects, the TCSs, the Infosys, the Satyams, they're all CMM level 5 companies. Or they, huh? Yeah. Come back, exactly. I think maybe it's a certification that has to be renewed every few years. So the CMM level, who gives you certification, CMM level certification? An institute called SEI. Stands for Software Engineering Institute. So SEI is an organization that grants CMM level certification. This is all, by the way, FYI, guys, right? This is nothing to do with PA or PM. Software Engineering Institute. Yeah, it's nothing to do with BA or PM. This is just, somebody says I work for a CMM level 5 company, you know what they're talking to you about. So, yeah, CMM, so the more higher the certification, the more serious they are about their processes. Yeah, Six Sigma is another level of certification. It's a different certification altogether.
But I think to achieve a level of accuracy.
Yeah, but it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about quality, right? Whether you are CMM certified or Six Sigma certified or Rational Unified Process certified or ISO certified, in whatever business, whether it's manufacturing or it's software, it's about quality, to give the perception of quality, right? So really, there's nothing to it. I don't need to go through these various slides. Now, there are these various, for those of you who are electrical engineers, you might know about IEEE standards, right? If you say, okay, our company has all these standards implemented. Good for you, right? SEI has CMM. Then there's the ISO organization. International, I think it's the biggest organization perhaps out there. And ISO perhaps gives standards for every level of field, whether it's manufacturing or it's aeronautical services, right? So yeah, this topic is really just FYI again, guys. Just read through it and just kind of nod your head and say, yeah, makes sense. They're talking about, right? All these, don't just read through it. Don't even read through these numbers. Just scan through it, right? So just for example, page 16, even though it's IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, IEEE also got their hand into software requirements. So if you are a company that has a lot of time at their hand and they want to do things the right way and they feel IEEE is a good organization, they might follow this standard to create their requirement specifications. So, we all created software requirement specification, right? You did your BRDs, FSDs, but you didn't care about a specific standard. But if maybe you might want to Google this and see what does this standard say about software requirement specifications, right? I'm just curious to see what exactly does it say. It will say things like your requirements should not be vague, they should be complete, they should be unambiguous, they should oh, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering why nothing showed up. Yeah. Do I have to buy it? Yeah. And never mind, just if you have free time and you're really curious, go through it. Just say, what does this standard say about it? Okay. All right, let's come to the most important topic of day 4, which is SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle Methodology. Many decades ago, question, time, 10:30, urge for caffeine. Okay, let's take a break. I think it's a brand new topic anyways, yeah. So let's get together at 10:42. Oh man. Amazon, yeah, that makes sense. Amazon being such a great shipper, and literally, I ordered things today. They're at my doorstep tomorrow at sometimes day after tomorrow. I love it. It's just amazing.
I should order diapers tomorrow.
Really? I never.
Oh, very, very.
It's even cheaper.
Very cheap.
Amazing. That's
Why do I go to Costco?
exactly, and waste hour and a half of your day. Right.
Very nice.
I literally buy $2,000 worth of stuff a month from Amazon. Remember, you remember a lot of my dabbas used to come to Betasoft, like my shoes and stuff, because I never used to be home. I used to be in Wells Fargo. So, so okay, coffee.
So you want to walk with me? Yeah. You walk? Yeah. Where are you?
So I feel that it's something information about you know what the I'm so sick with the person. Seriously? I said, what do you eat? I had leprosy. With the vegetable one? Yeah, vegetarian. I think maybe the I'm not maybe that way I have to do. I'm so tired from this today. Oh my god. But you're okay to have it since morning I've just had it in the middle and I used to have tea and have a banana in the cart, but I don't feel like I'm so sick. I don't want to come, but I'm never gone. I spoke to her on Monday. She was online and she said, I always they haven't done it. Then what the other or whenever I forget it. Or like moving the book this feels like this or it's very bad habits. I feel it's bad habits. Didn't matter what my dad used to use it for 1 year. Yeah, the basic, yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever you can do. Is this the start of this? Somebody, so very good at concepts. Probably except for one. All are my coming. This is totally mine. And then I copied all these because I don't want to keep writing every single person. So this I copied the name. So from when you did yeah, and then I did something else, but I tried to apply my experience. I got a this came to the department and instead of copying it, I just tried to read it. Oh, okay. Somebody goes to I mean, not only. So where you got the user? This will be yeah, that I do. So cell phone because no cell phones I don't because some Yahoo address Ramu, address, contacts. It's 510-662. Okay. 214-708. Yeah. Then VARGH. Yes. Yeah, I just got You're 19. That is yours. Yeah. That's mainly my Yeah. No, I'll be. Oh, you. Oh, for the thing. It will be zero.
School week, this. India और बांग्लादेश का था.
Never know. Are they always Bangladesh?
लेकिन इनको पे जाना किधर? अरे बताइए ये देख.
What that
294 for 4. Gary. मजा नहीं आ रही.
already ended. You remember?
ये देखते. अरे यार shit. ये price सही है. हाँ. सोना किसी भी को ना लोन है. They're very good. Day night. Only form here. In this very 101. ये तो पागल है. इसका भी चल रहा है. अच्छा है. क्या है आजकल ये टेस्ट मैच
Next year. No, but starting with the team. And then it can really
अरेंगे अच्छे
just see how lucky she is. It's like that, like, no, like if you every season you have, you know,
थ्री कोल वाला
some
भाई
season you have, some
वो टेस्ट मैच है यार नीचे दिखा रहा है क्या
I waited for you. That you'll come, and then you can spin it. I didn't go and move.
घुस सकता है तू
But then,
घुस गया
couple that language. Man, Jared, with your optimistic attitude and your cheerfulness, exactly. There are a lot of other
everybody घुस गया क्या नहीं निकल रहा यार मेरी गलती नहीं है
Oh, my husband is not off. Martin was thinking 18th January we want to go somewhere in the weekend. Oh.
I didn't stop the recording. You guys have to remind me to stop the recording and start it, please, guys.
I can only recording.
That conversation got recorded. Bang. Ta-da! Is it about me?
It's about you. And I was listening. Sorry. There's so many conversations you have. You should put up now. You should delete it. Can you delete some?
I'm sure I can delete it. I had to delete a WAV file.
Yeah. Edit it. I didn't delete it.
What was the context? Can you tell me the context? Was it girl talk?
No. It was funny. You're gonna started it. And I imitated dialogue. Oh my god.
Oh. I don't know if it will.
No.
Does it pick up your stuff from here?
A little bit I think you can hear it. But here, right here, like, I'm writing.
We'll do this after the class. We'll see what got recorded.
Yeah, then
मैंने कुछ नहीं करा यार
So the main culprit.
Okay, guys. Okay. The next topic is software development life cycle. Okay, SDLC. We already talked about one SDLC, which is the waterfall model. At least we briefly mentioned it. Concept, requirements, design, development, acceptance, deployment, maintenance, and retirement. Okay. What is the purpose of having an SDLC? The purpose of having an SDLC is that you want to tackle one thing at a time. So when you have started on a software project, you want to focus on an activity at any given time. You just want to focus on the high level concept initially. You don't want to be thinking about the design of the system. Then once you have the concept cleared, then you work on the detailed requirements. And that time you're just working on requirements, not thinking about what database will I use, what programming language will I use, what QA will be doing, just requirements. And then once requirements are complete, then you focus on design and so on and so forth. So the reason to have a waterfall model is it helps the team to focus on a task at any given time, on a particular task at any given time. It helps the team to focus on a particular task at any given time. You might think that waterfall model is so obvious that it was always followed, but it's not true. Many years ago, maybe in the 1950s, maybe in the 1950s, they didn't really have any model. The only sort of model they had was this, the code and fix model. There's no thought about concept or requirements or design. The customers will tell developers something and they'll start coding. Just start coding right away without any formal requirements gathering. Maybe barely some testing will happen, as in somebody will just kind of try to work through your application. Why did we change? Oh, you cannot see because he's so tall. You come. And then the developers hand over the code, and guess what? The code has a lot of bugs in it, right? So it was not very obvious that these are bugs. What did you think they were? That you knew. Oh, okay, you said, oh, as in it was like a revelation. Oh, these are bugs. I thought maybe it wasn't clear what it was.
The ants.
They look like ants, right? Yeah. Originally, software was developed using the code and fix method. The developer briefly discussed what was needed with the customer, and then went to work to code it. And then went to work to code it. When he returned to the customer with the finished product, the developer usually found that something was incorrect or missing, in which case he would go back to work on the code. This process is totally unpredictable. The developer might finish in less than a day or could take weeks or months, depending on his or skill set and validity and clarity of the requirements, right? You can't manage a software project with this arbitrary technique, right? That's where the waterfall model comes in. It's the oldest model. It's the oldest model, and all other models actually are variants of this model, right? Like Sanskrit is the oldest language, and then a lot of languages are just variants of that, right? So this was the oldest model, still a very popular model, even though it's oldest. And it's called waterfall because just like in a waterfall, you don't go back up. A waterfall always falls down. Similarly, once you worked on the concept, only then you can work on requirements. And once you work on requirements, generally it is not allowed to go back to the concept. Concept has been frozen. Requirements then get frozen, you work on design. Then, when design is frozen, you work on development. So it steps down, right? The benefit is, of course, it gives you a systematic approach, right? The biggest benefit of this is it gives you a systematic approach to software development. It gives a systematic approach to software development.
You can't go back once you...
Yeah, that is a challenge. Because in real world, if you look at the first challenge, in the real world projects rarely follow the sequential flow that this model proposes. It's like if you were working in the waterfall model to build your house, once you've told the contractor what you want, you're not allowed to change your mind, which nobody will, tolerate in real world. They'll say, what do you mean I can't change my mind about 4 bedrooms to 5? Go ahead and change your design to fix mine or to match my needs. But if you're following a typical waterfall model, then the team will say, I'm really sorry, customer, you can't change your mind. We've already gone past the requirements phase. So that's a challenge, and that's a challenge. RUP is, this is a non-iterative model. RUP is an example of an iterative model. And we'll actually talk about RUP almost for a whole day, many days from now. I think the RUP comes in day 23. So it is somewhat like this, but not really. They all, as I said, most of the more recent models are based on the processes found in the waterfall model, but it's called an iterative model. We'll talk about it. Okay. What is another challenge of this? Another challenge of this is you are forcing the customer to state all the requirements up front, right? A customer may not be willing to commit to all the requirements. He might say, you know what, I have some requirements in my mind, but I really cannot tell you that this is all I have. I might have some needs along the way, add-ons, right? Some really, but this model says, I'm sorry, once you build the requirements, that's it. Nothing more will be added. There's no scope creep allowed in an ideal world, right? But realize that that's just a model, right? Models can be broken. You might still want to follow waterfall model and say, you know what, we're going to follow the waterfall model, but we're going to allow it to be changed later on. So in a way, it's like saying, okay, I'll practice Hinduism, but I'll still, eat beef, right? It doesn't mean you're not a Hindu anymore. Yeah, you're still a Hindu, but a tainted Hindu. So see, it's same thing here. You're following the waterfall model, but then, okay, you have some kind of, okay, we allow you to go back and change your requirements a bit. And then you started, modifying your design again to meet the requirements and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's just, it's the strictest model. But then, of course, strictest models can be tailor-fitted to your needs, right? It is definitely better than an ad hoc approach, no doubt about it. And let's try to understand this statement. Do you think this kind of model gives you solid software, like very good quality? Whatever it gives you, is it good quality or bad quality? Solid, very solid, right? I know it has its limitations of not allowing requirements changing, but whatever requirements are there, since they've been done in such an orderly manner, it tends to give you a very good quality product. But does it take longer? Does it take more time? Does it cost more money? Absolutely. Whenever you do something systematically, it takes more money, it takes more, at least upfront. Later on, you might thank God that you did it that way because you don't have to deal with crappy code or crappy product. But upfront, it costs more money than doing it ad hoc, right? So yeah, so it's a good protocol when quality requirements dominate cost and schedule requirements. So yeah, just kind of memorize a couple of benefits, a couple of challenges. For each model that we cover, memorize a couple. Okay. The ad hoc approach is this approach, no? This is code and fix. Oh, yeah. When you saw ad hoc approach over here, it just meant no approach. Ad hoc approach is not really a SDLC. This just means pretty much no approach. Right? All the time. SDLC is a very popular interview question. It's almost always in every requirement. Excellent understanding of SDLC. Yeah. Tell me about your favorite SDLC. And if you say Agile, then they'll say, tell me about Agile. Why do you like it? What do you like about Agile? What is your role in that methodology? Stuff like that. So, yeah. Right, exactly. We use Waterfall, use Agile. Then you say, well, you have 6 projects on your resume. You should never say I've always used, you pretty much say I've used Waterfall, I've used Agile, I've used RUP, and I've used some methodologies that are not even on paper, because it was such a company-specific methodology. In real life, if you ask people what methodology they use, some of them will say, God knows what we use. It's some mixture of methodologies, right? So,
They use the waterfall to build the skeleton of the entire project, and then they use the RUP or the again methodology to actually write the code.
So again, that's perhaps your experience, and I can deny it or anything, but or whatever you've heard or read. So yeah, cool. Okay. The next slide tells you, oh yeah, this is one of the big problems. The last bullet point in the challenges is a very major disadvantage of the waterfall model. The customer must have patience. A working version of the system will not be available until late in the project time span. A major blunder, if undetected until working program is reviewed, can be disastrous, which means that, so realize that when does the customer see the product? The customer sees the product only somewhere over here, right? So say they told you some requirements, you completely misunderstood them. And now you have built the wrong design and the wrong development. 2 months have gone by here, 3 months have gone by here. And now the customer sees like, oh, this is not what I had asked for, or you completely misunderstood me, right? So that's a problem. All this work could go wasted. So that's one of the biggest challenges of waterfall model. Okay. Page 26 talks about what are some of the deliverables that come out of each phase of waterfall model. What are the deliverables that come out of each phase? You don't have to understand every single deliverable here, but let's, okay, in the requirements phase, we have physical and logical requirements, which you already know, right? You know what the physical requirements are. Logical requirements are those requirements which are directly derived from business needs. What are physical requirements? Explicitly by the end users. Important enough to functioning of the product. Exactly, right? That was one of the quiz questions. A requirement traceability matrix is created there. Design of the system is done here, like ER modeling, class modeling, wireframe, right? Service level objectives, service level agreements are thought about in the requirements. Business requirements are done in the concept phase. Right? In the development, the actual development happens. Right? In the acceptance, you actually do the QA. In deployment, you deploy it. Right? You maintain it. You retire it. Yeah, common sense. Don't worry about a few things. If it doesn't make sense to you, forget about it. It's not really a big deal. Okay, so then I'm ignoring page 27, and you can also ignore page 27. So you can just kind of, when I say ignore, you can just do this. Bigger, yeah. Ignore sashimi model. Ignore waterfall with subprojects model. The next model which is important is the prototyping model, page 30. The prototyping model is a bit of improvement on the waterfall model. As we said, there were two big problems with waterfall model. One was the customer might say, you know what, I don't want to say that these are all the requirements I have. In fact, I'm not even clear in my mind what requirements I have. It's very possible. Sometimes I'm sure you come across people in your real life where they sort of know what they want, but they don't know exactly what they want, right? Whether you're building a house, whether you are going on a trip, you have some idea about what you're doing, but not exact idea. Right? Same thing with business team or end users. They have a concept in mind, but they can't really put it down on paper. What exactly are their requirements? So then what happens is you need to create a prototype for them. You need to create prototype for them. When I say you, I mean you, the BA, and the technical team together, right? Where some type of requirements are discussed. Some type of requirements are discussed, right? The end users tell you, we have these basic requirements. What do the developers do? They come up with a quick and dirty design. Quick and dirty as in something to just get it going. Then they develop a prototype. And then the business analyst sits down with the end users and demonstrates the prototype. Right? And the end users say, yeah, this is something like what I had thought, but I wish I could change this screen to that, and I could also search by such parameter, and I don't really need this feature and stuff. So they're just discussing about what they see. It's a non-working model for sure. It's not a fully working model. Maybe only working 10%, but at least it's giving like a hazy idea about it. So then the design is refined more based on the user feedback. Prototype is developed again. Requirements become more and more fleshed out, more and more finalized. And you keep doing it in a iterative manner, until the end users say, you know what, yeah, this is what I want to actually build. This is what I want you guys to build, right? And then full-scale development begins. And then it again just follows the waterfall model after that. And then it just follows the waterfall model, right? So it's an improvement on the waterfall model, because one of the problems of the waterfall model is removed. Which problem? About unclear requirements. If the customer doesn't want to commit or cannot commit because he's unable to visualize it completely, what you're doing is you are marrying these two together, and you're letting it iterate for a week, 10 days, 15 days, a month, 2 months. It depends upon how big the project is. And you're working on a prototype. When I say you, I mean the technical teams along with you, until the end users get the vision in their mind. Yeah, this is what I have in mind. It's almost like, for example, when builders build big communities like Kaufman and Broad community over here. This is a KB community, na? Rachna? Yeah. You walk into this builder's office and they have this very nice sort of a replica of the building that will come up in 2 years. And these are the roads, and these are the swimming pool, and this is the park. It's a non-working prototype. It gives you a clear picture of what I want. Do I want the walls brown or green or red, or how much area to give to the green space and how much for built area? That's all unclear to the builder maybe upfront, but through that prototype they get a proper picture of it. Same thing with the software. Sky company, Sire company, SKIER. Is it a very big company? I haven't heard about it. It's a quality company. Are you shareholder of the company? Skyer. आगे क्या करूँ? Skyer. Skyer. Oh, that's a skier. Skier भी हो गया ना?
Skyer factory software.
Is that what it is? Let's go to sky.com. No, it's skiing. Anyway, so you're saying that Sky is a company that helps companies create prototypes? I-R-E. There are a lot of companies out there which Skyer. Mm-hmm.
If the customers say, like, we want such and such, they immediately, they do prototyping.
Amazing.
If they say, okay, if you click on this, if you go to that particular screen, only that much part they'll do.
They'll do.
Everything no coding.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll build and they'll show the customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Presentation will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Their policy is they never say no.
They never say no.
Customer says, we want
It's
this.
what they'll build.
Yeah, does your software provides this? They'll always say yes. And if it is not there in the software,
They'll
write the code.
build it.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy too. When an interviewer asks you, do you know this? You never say no. You always say, yes, I know it.
It's a template.
So, okay, good. So that's the prototyping model, okay? In the prototyping model, the system concept is developed as the project progresses. In the beginning, the most visible aspects of the system are developed first, right? And then, prototyping keeps happening. At some point, the team and the customer agree that the prototype is good enough, and then the prototype is developed as the final working product. What are the benefits? Benefits is when the requirements are changing rapidly, or the customer is unable to commit to a set of requirements, or when it's a brand new application, that nobody understands well. It's like a brand new application, like what Orkut or Facebook was 5 years ago. I'm sure it has come up as a result of a lot of prototyping, and it has evolved over time. It wasn't clear in the minds of the founders as to what will Facebook look like today, but it evolved, prototype, right? Okay, and then challenges. If the customer is very unsophisticated, at this point, he'll say, oh, really? We are done? All right, let's go live. Because he doesn't realize, like Rashmi realized, that this prototype is just a dumb prototype. It doesn't really work. But an unsophisticated customer might say, oh, we are so close to production because we already done it. They don't realize that it's just a prototype that you're working on. Right? But that's, I don't even think it's such a big challenge. See, some of these challenges here are more like just for the heck of filling up the page, the guy put it here. It is possible that analysis paralysis might happen, right? It is impossible to know at the outset of the project how long it will take to create an acceptable product. Because it's possible that you might have one of the customers from hell who just is never happy, and they just keep going on and 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 on, right? And you eventually have to say, you know what, we need to stop and move on because we're running out of time. So you might get into that sort of a situation.
I don't think the benefits when it says efficiency of an
Algorithm. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm sure prototyping model is idea. Sometimes people ask, oh, so what is the relative popularity of these SDLCs? Like how many companies use waterfall and prototyping, and next one which is spiral, and then RUP and agile. And I don't know, I've tried to Google that many times, and I don't think there's any statistics out there about that. I don't think it has been captured. But I'm pretty, prototyping makes sense, right? It makes sense because whenever you're doing a new project and you don't exactly understand what you're trying to do, you just have a concept in mind, you might want to use prototyping model. Spiral model. very little difference, right? What you're saying, yeah, they're all sort of variants. You know, they're all like mutating from the same original thing, or iterating. Yeah, yeah. I think it's okay to call prototyping iterative model because it iterates. Spiral model is also an iterative model. So before we jump into spiral model, I would like you to jump to, I realize a lot of people on this call who don't have this material because they are just taking, let's read some questions. What is the difference between development and design? So Swinder asked, what is the difference between development and design? So I think Swinder joined us late or what? No, he's been here for a few days. Difference between development and design. So I think we should say design and development because design comes first and development comes next. So development is actual coding. When programmers are writing lines of code, they call it LOC, actual C program, actual C++ program, actual SQL, actual HTML, that's coding. Design comes before development. In design, you are thinking about what you will code, how you will code. For example, ER modeling is an example of design. You're just thinking about the entities, their attributes, and their relationships. So that's design. And then the development is the actual create table command, right? The actual constraints that you put, right? This is the foreign key, this is the primary key. So this becomes the design and this becomes the development. So this is actual coding and this is just thinking about what you will code. Same thing with wireframes, right? Wireframe, which is used to lay out the outline of blueprint of a website. You just think about, okay, I'm going to put a logo here. I'm going to put my menu here. I'm going to put main text here. So this is a design, and then the development is actual HTML, table, image, right? Whatever your tags are. So that's the actual development. Sometimes the design team is different from development team, and sometimes it's the same team that does the design first and development later on. It just depends. Generally speaking, developers migrate from being developers to designers because, senior level programmers do the design part and junior level when I say junior, it's not necessarily true. I know people who've been in software for 20 years and they still want to stay developers. They just like it, they just love it. And then some people within 4 years say, I'm done with coding, I want to move into design and system architecture and stuff like that. It just depends upon your interest. So I hope I was able to answer your questions, Swinder. If not, you can ask that question again so I know, okay? Alok, isn't there a sign-off after gathering requirements with the business users to prevent the blunders you just mentioned for the waterfall method? Good question, Anup. So he's saying, the blunder that he's talking about is the blunder where the end user doesn't see the working product until the, okay. So Anup is saying that one of the challenges of waterfall model is this one, right? A major blunder, if undetected until working program is reviewed, can be disastrous. So he's saying, how could we even get to a point like this where after every stage we should ideally have sign-offs You guys know about sign-offs, right? I've talked about sign-off. A document is given to you, the BRD, and you evaluate it, and then you put your name at the bottom. Yes, I approve.
Bless it.
You bless it. Functional specification document, yeah. You might give some feedback, oh, that I didn't think I meant this with the requirement, I meant that. So, it changes, but then eventually you sign off. So you're right. I mean, sign off is a way to prevent such blunders. But sometimes people sign off things without reading it. People are so hard pressed for time in real life, that they don't want to go through a 20-page document. And literally on the way home from BART on their BlackBerry, they'll read it and say, approved, whatever. Right? And then later on it becomes a problem. And that happens all the time. But you're right, Anup. You're right that if the sign-offs are there, it reduces the chances of blunders. I agree. Oh, okay. I see most of these things shouldn't be applying to remote. I think she's talking about that weightage thing, about how I grade candidates, about attendance in class and interaction with me. Yeah, I agree, Varsha. She's left actually. Yes, some of them don't apply to you, but some do, right? But some do, like attendance and being on time and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. Okay, good. Excellent. So I hope I answered all the questions here. Okay, guys. Oh yeah, I was saying that I should send these guys some of these. How many people don't have the material I'm going over right now? I would think Himani doesn't have it. I would think that Anup wouldn't have it. Raise your hands. Himani doesn't have it. Really, Anup, you have it? I'm surprised you have it. I don't think I will be joining. Got it. Okay, cool. We'll be joining tomorrow. Okay, got it. Okay. So Himani, remind me to send you these documents. I don't want to take up class time for it. Send me an email and I'll send you the documents I covered in class today, like chapter 4 and stuff like that. Okay, guys, I want you guys to get to this part of your book, which is one look. You guys have this project in your books. You have this project in your books. Neha doesn't have it. So Neha and Himani both send me an email that I can send you chapter 4 today by mail. I know that Neha, your book is already on the way. Okay, guys. So let me tell you about this. Where is the One Look project? Let's see. Last to last or last?
Very last.
Very last one. Okay, good. Him Sharma _16. Him Sharma _16 at Yahoo. Okay, good. Project One Look. Okay, what is Project One Look, guys? When I took a project management course from Berkeley a few years ago, I had to do a project much like you guys. So I was on the other end, other side, right? And I did this project. And of course, my good fortune that I was doing this as a group project and you guys are doing it as a individual. I didn't want to give a group project to you because then I knew some people will do all the work and then some people will just ride on the backs of other people. Like I rode on the back of these people. Okay, so this is the project that we thought of, One Look. Everybody got to it at the end. So, we pretty much did everything so what this deliverable is, it's basically a combination of various like project charter, use case scenarios, gap analysis. You guys have given me individual files, and this one is, maybe this is what I should do. I should also ask you guys, not this batch, next batch, to just create one growing document. That's in a way good, right? So you put your project charter, and then after a few pages you put your BRD. After, you know, so maybe at the end of the day it will be about 100-page document. It'll all be in one place. Your Visio diagrams, your SQL queries, not bad, not bad. Okay. So anyways, my project was, this was the concept about my project. My project was, and at that time it seemed revolutionary, but not today because so many companies do this. I did this project almost 5 years ago. So this was my, and actually it was my idea. And I was very passionate about it at that time. Okay, so I said that, you know, there are users like you and me which go to Gmail, we go to Bank of America websites, we go to Amazon, we go to E-Trade, and you know, we do our business over here, whatever business we have with these websites. And then, you know, we log out. But my problem was being able to remember the username, passwords of all these, and having to go to these sites differently, you know, on different browsers. So I proposed that we create a new application called OneLook, and as the name indicates, I wanted to, yeah, either different windows or different tabs or somehow keep a way that I log into OneLook. And because I've already registered these websites with OneLook, OneLook further goes ahead and logs me into all these various sites and actually pulls the content of these sites over here. Yeah, and maybe, you know, it doesn't have to be like literally a screen divided by 4. You know, maybe the presentation can be done in a very good manner so I still see the entire Gmail. Maybe tabs, right? Tabs is a good way of doing it, right? Just like most of the browsers have tabs these days, correct? There's a tab here, there's a tab here, there's a tab here, right? So maybe OneLook will have multiple tabs where different partner sites that I have will open up here, and I don't have to log into each one of them individually. I just want to make the life of customers easy. And as my partnerships grew, as more and more companies signed up with me, that's great. I can offer more and more websites to my customers, right? So that was my concept. That was the project about. So why am I talking about this at this time? Why did I suddenly jump gears, even though I was about to start with spiral model? Because I'll tell you why. What do you think about this project? If you were a VC, venture capitalist, would you be excited, or would you say, you know what, this is bad, or I don't want to fund this project? What would you say? What will be your thoughts?
You need more insight on this.
You need more insight for sure, of course. It's not enough. But you know, sometimes the founders of companies can literally get money based on a drawing like this on a napkin in a coffee shop. I'm sure you've heard stories like this in the Bay Area. A developer, or you know, a founder of a company is sitting across from Vinod Khosla. What's his name? Who's Vinod Khosla, right? The biggest VC who started Sun. Vinod Khosla. Let's see who's Vinod Khosla. You should know at least the big Indians in IT, especially in the Bay Area. Yeah. An entrepreneur is someone who dares to dream the dreams and is foolish enough to try to make those dreams come true. Amazing. Amazing. He's a venture capitalist. And I think Vinod Khosla had started, there you go. He's funded a lot of companies, of course. He's the founder of Sun Microsystems. There you go. So founder of Sun Microsystems made his millions and billions, and then finally became a venture capitalist, right? Khosla Ventures. Anyways, why am I talking about this? I was just saying that many times I've come across articles or stories where literally a founder who has a concept in his mind is sitting over coffee at Starbucks with a big guy like him and draws something like this, and Khosla says, come and get a check of $5 million from me tomorrow. and start your dream. Literally, it has happened, right? I went to this company the other day called YouSendIt. I have a friend who works there. It's in San Jose. In fact, I use YouSendIt, right, to send you guys. So as soon as you enter their company, they have a laminated, a sort of a framed poster that looks like this, that said, this is how YouSendIt started. So this guy, the founder of YouSendIt, had drawn a rough figure like this to a venture capitalist. And that is how the company got its first seed money. So, and then sometimes people say, oh, you have to have elaborate business plans, and venture capitalists want to see, your profit and loss projections for many years and your maintenance plans and stuff like that. And sometimes an idea is just so awesome that it just kind of says, okay, this is good. This is what I want to fund. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is then, yeah, you're right. A lot more insight is needed. But tell me whatever you've gotten about it so far. You think it will sell? It will sell. Some people will say it will sell. I'm pretty sure some people think it will not sell. By the way, will I be making money? Yeah, I'm thinking that OneLook, why would millions of customers sign up? And will I have to pay? I think I'll have a $10 a month subscription to it, because that's how I'll make money. Otherwise, why will I make money? So now all of a sudden, do you think that customers may not go for it? And they say, why should I pay $10 a month to you when all these are free anyways? But then some customers who are very busy in life and who see this as a value might sign up, right? Who might say, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of, I would just love to log into OneLook every day. I'll make this my homepage. And I just log in and I have 20 sites at my disposal. I'm logged in right away. Pretty neat.
Windows 7 has this.
Windows 7 has this already?
Every time you open a new tab, it will show you all the pages that you have listed. Just have to click it.
That visited, but no, I'm talking about, these are authenticated sessions.
Yeah, Windows authenticated sessions. Gmail, you just have to, you don't have to type in, you just have to click it.
Because it remembers your username password. I agree. Right.
At one point is not very secure.
I was hoping somebody would say that. It is not secure. Why is it not secure, guys? Wow. Is there. But you still have to log into OneLook. So even if your laptop gets stolen,
Is there like a remember me?
hopefully we will not have a remember me.
Not there.
Then it's okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Hopefully we will not have a remember me, which means that maybe it logs out after whatever, 15 minutes or half an hour, unless there's actual activity going on.
Your model is about having multiple logins within the same page instead of having it in a different page.
Right.
Which is what Yahoo homepage has. So if you log in to Google account, you can view the inbox, or you can have a snapshot of the email. You can even log in to Facebook. So you have like Facebook there,
Yeah.
Yahoo there.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's what I said. I think 5 years ago, this idea was very revolutionary in my mind, but today it seems a lot of companies are already doing it, right? They help you integrate or aggregate content from various places and show you all at one place, right? But I'm talking about potentially, not just talking, I'm talking about like finance stuff, stock stuff, e-commerce stuff. So yeah, somebody has a question. Himani, go ahead.
Hi, Alok. I was just talking about this OneLook thing. If you suppose have just one password for OneLook, and then your Gmail, Bank of America, Amazon, and other accounts are on OneLook, what if you want to log in from some other computer? Then you need to get your Gmail and Bank of America password separately, right? And
No,
what if
but
you
I did not understand your question. Say that one more time.
If you just have one password for your OneLook and
Right.
all the other passwords are stored in OneLook, but you only use OneLook on your laptop, what if you have to go to some other computer and log in into just one of these accounts? So you will have problems remembering your password, or you can still go ahead and use OneLook on other computers as well.
Right, okay. I think I wasn't very clear on explaining this project. I'll explain a bit more and then maybe your question will be answered. So the way I was envisioning OneLook will work is, say I, Alok Bhatia, sign up with OneLook. So I'll of course sign up, register with OneLook. I'll get a username in OneLook called Alok B and password 1Q2W3E4R. Okay. And then after registering here, I would register my various accounts. I will tell OneLook that my Amazon account is Canvas and password is blah, and that my E-Trade account is 78965 with password money, and that my Gmail account is Alok Bhatia with password blah, right? So after, when I register with OneLook, I have to let OneLook know what are the username passwords of the various sites that I want to aggregate, so that then I'm done. And then I log into OneLook from whether my work computer, I log into OneLook, and all of a sudden OneLook behind the scene goes ahead and pulls all the content from Amazon, from Canvas, from Amazon, from E-Trade, from Gmail and stuff like that. So then when I come home and then I'm not in office anymore, hopefully behind the scenes OneLook has logged me out because of 15 minutes of inactivity. And when I'm home, I do again, I just log into OneLook, and again OneLook brings all the content back. So does that answer the question, Neha?
Himani, yeah.
I'm sorry, Himani, thank you. Yeah. So, right? Yeah, okay, good. And again, you know, we shouldn't even be spending a lot of time on this because it's just my project and you don't really care about it. But, you know, just, in fact, I remember just like Rashmi said that Yahoo does that. Even somebody actually used this project on their resume. Portfolio. I'm trying to, I think somebody used this project on their resume and did very well with it. Let me show you what they did. Andrea Fernandez. Andrea Fernandez did this. There you go. So she put on her project this resume. Bank of America is a diversified banking finance, blah, blah. Scope of this project was to help customers access all their financial accounts, Bank of America and non-Bank of America, in a single page and validate real-time account balances, right? So she basically took this project in a more concrete manner and said, okay, if she worked on a project Bank of America where this application would aggregate information from Bank of America checking account, saving account, home equity line of credit account, student loan accounts, and non-BFA accounts, right? So that's what she did.
Is Meebo something like that? Is something
You know, I've heard of it and I don't.
Meebo. It's from Messengers, yeah. But then
Meebo is the one which like basically log into one messenger and then it logs you into multiple messengers and you people don't have to know what you're on. Makes sense, makes sense.
And then from work,
Exactly. In fact, I have Meebo on my iPhone.
so you can just see,
Pretty
you
neat.
can show this homepage to them.
Right, right.
I think that's an outlet where you can configure it in a different way, but you can just have one account and all your data even comes to the same account, same inbox.
Right, right. So I asked her a question when she was preparing, which non-Bank of America companies did you integrate with this project? JP Morgan Chase, stocks and bonds held by an individual, mortgages from various banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, etc. So these become your various partner companies who are willing to share their information with you. Right, so.
Website where you can bring in all your bills and pay through that website. I was in a while and I did that to pay my utility bill.
Yeah. So it's become a very common occurrence, I guess, these days. Okay. So yeah, you just told me it is insecure. Well, it is not secure. Laptop gets stolen and all your info is there. So maybe have auto logout feature after X minutes, whatever that X is. What other problems? Huh? Retrieve password is a problem. Well, yeah, that's a feature. I'm talking about the problems though. I'm talking about the problems. Whether it will sell or not is a problem. Whether it will be secure or not is a problem.
If the website is down or something,
If the website is down, then yeah.
and if you don't remember all your other passwords, then you cannot.
Yeah, because you're saying now you're so used to OneLook that you've forgotten your Gmail password. So that would be pretty silly too. Yeah, exactly. So availability has to be 99.999% because people have come to depend upon you, and yeah, that makes sense. Exactly.
If it is like the main issue, like
I know it's crappy. Nobody will like it. Yeah, you're right. So UI design, yeah, UI design will be a challenge. So that it's still adopted by people. It doesn't look like it's too jumbled up and it's too busy, right? Nobody wants to see a very busy website. So
When you say work, right, people totally rely on these then only
so you're saying that we should, people will pay for it too much. How much will you pay for this service? Anything? $2? No, not even $2.
Maybe for software download, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit down.
Yes, wow. You guys are very tight with your money. Right. Yeah, you don't want to have a thick line. I'll ask you one day when you have a job which keeps you busy 16 hours a day and 2 kids and in-laws living with you. And you're like, I just need one password, please, so I can see everything. It depends upon, where you are in your busyness, of life. So, yeah, I would easily pay $10. If OneLook was from a trusted company like Google, I would right away sign up right now for $10 a month. And just log in, and I have multiple tabs, and just go from one tab to another. It's pretty neat. It'll save me an hour a day, or maybe 20 minutes a day. I'm happy. Okay. Good. So yeah, you guys told me, I think in a nutshell, what you're telling me, it's a risky project. Right? It's risky from a customer perspective. It's risky from implementation perspective. It's risky from availability perspective. Risky from design perspective. I completely agree. So it's definitely a risky project. And when there's a risky project, which model should you follow? Spiral model. The spiral model is a risk-oriented model that breaks a project up into mini projects. The spiral model is a risk-oriented model that breaks up the project into mini projects. Each mini project addresses one or more major risks until all the major risks have been addressed. It's like the divide and conquer technique. You have all these doubts in your mind, and you start resolving those doubts one by one, right? One more risk that we didn't talk about is perhaps, so realize that OneLook is at the mercy of all these partners, right? OneLook behind the scenes has to go and grab data from these various partner companies. And these partner companies, first of all, have to agree to it. They may not want to agree to it. Amazon will say, why should I give up control of a customer to you? I would much rather want customer to come to Amazon because that increases my, advertising rates. A company's advertising rates dependent upon how many visits they get per day. And here now you are taking away a customer from me. E-Trade might say the same thing, you know, that, you know, for branding reasons, right? So there is perhaps also a risk about whether you'll have enough partners who want to sign up with you. Right? You can't do this without their permission. They can block you at any time. They might block OneLook servers and say, forget about it, I'm not giving any information, even if you have username, password of your customer. Secondly, OneLook is also at the mercy of these because of the API. I talked about API a bit, I think, with you. No, but maybe I'll do it again today. One off topic. What is, anybody remembers what API is?
Application programming.
Is this the first time you're taking this class, or are you taking this class second time? First time, no? So which means I've talked about this before? You just read it in Google? That was pretty quick. Have I talked about API, Jyoti, in this class? No? API, Application Programming Interface. Okay. What is, you know, sometimes, again, as you know, this course is all about more you know, the better it is. The more acronyms you know, the more concepts you know. You don't have to know how to program an API. Do you understand the concept? What is Application Programming Interface? So Application Programming Interface is this. Imagine you are NASA and you have information about the weather of the world, right? Which city, which continent, whatever, doesn't matter. You know about the weather of the world. So you are an important source of information. And then there are various weather sites out there, right? Yahoo has weather.yahoo.com. Then there is weather.com. And various other companies, right? Yeah, weather.cnn.com, AccuWeather.com, right? So all these sites out there. Now all these sites, of course, are not going to duplicate the effort and compile their own weather database. That would be stupid, right? There's already a company out there. What will they do? They will tap into this company, right? So then what NASA's weather's IT department will do is they will publish an API. They use the term publish. They will publish an API, an application programming interface. What is the, it's a technical thing. It's an API is telling users of your data how to invoke functions in your system. Which means that weather.com has published an API. It's a document that says, okay, all you guys here who are coming to me for weather information, if you invoke this function with these parameters, I will return you this data. If you invoke this other function with these parameters, I'll give you back this data. So it may not be very clear to the non-programmers what I mean, but for those of you who've done a programming course, let me give you an example. You know, you see how sometimes like when you go to weather.yahoo or weather.cnn, you can get various levels of weather information. You can just say day by day, time by time, or snapshot right now, you know, hourly by hourly, right? These are various levels of data being pulled out from this is a system of record, right? SOR sort of a thing. From these companies' perspective, this is a system of record, right? And then the system of record, NASA is saying, okay, if you just want snapshot of the weather, this is the function I want you to call. Call function snapshot weather with a string that represents the zip code of the city you want. So, and then I will return you a I'll return you an array of temperature and sun level. I'm just making this up completely. So this is an API function call published by NASA to the world that, you know, if you invoke my server with this function, send me a zip code, I will send you back the temperature and the sun level of that zip code. So which means, for example, weather.com might do this. Might say, okay, snapshot weather for our zip code 94587. And this is the input, and the output would be 62 degrees and partly sunny. So now weather.com will get this data and they will present it in whatever manner they need to present. They might put a icon of a sun half covered with cloud and 62 degrees Fahrenheit, or they might convert to Celsius for some reason. Whatever they want to do with this data is their issue. So that's what purpose of an API is. There will be many such function calls. I'll give you just one more example. Maybe not snapshot of the weather, but if you want detailed weather, then this is the API call that you should make. I still only need the zip code, but this time I will give you a lot more information, you know, about temperature, about sun level, humidity, wind condition, what do they call that? How far can you see? What do they call it? Visibility, thank you. Visibility, stuff like that, right? So they will be literally, sometimes API publications are 20 pages big, 100 pages big, depending upon how many services is this provider providing. So again, that's what an API is. So the point that I'm trying to make here was that as OneLook, you are very closely affected by the APIs from these various providers, because these various providers will have to give you an API as to how should OneLook invoke information from us. For example, about a customer's balances, a customer's checks cleared, a customer's pending bills, right? I mean, there'll be so much of information that BofA has to provide to OneLook. Pretty much anything on BofA has to be provided to OneLook. So the API will be huge. And suppose the API changes. Suppose weather.com tomorrow says, you know what, I don't like the name snapshot weather. I want to call it instantaneous weather or instant weather. All these clients have to change their program to now call instant weather. So hopefully they'll not do it. Hopefully they'll not be, you know, very flaky about it. You know, they'll change it only if there's a real reason for it. But yeah, that is one of the risks. I'm trying to say that OneLook is at the mercy of the API changes of these partners. So that's one more risk. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They do. APIs are everywhere. I mean, right. Correct. Exactly. Every second. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Frozen. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. APIs are everywhere. Right. Right.
Like you said, giving options of something from what is used by your very good. We need to deliver specific code profiles.
Yeah.
But in API like this, weather.com, we can just use the XML schema and get the real-time value.
Right. These guys don't know about XML schema yet, but you know this because of your previous class. But you're right. This API might be a function call, It might just be an XML call. And that's what XML has made life so easy in today's world that, in the olden days before XML was created, this platform, which means say it's C++, say this was C++ and NASA was J2EE, it used to be a big problem. That's where then, there was a programming technique that was Common Object Request Broker Architecture came in. Corba said, okay, you guys are on C++, you guys are on J2EE, use Corba and you can still talk to each other. Now it has been replaced with SOA, which is what XML is. So you guys are talking about the same thing. In today's world, it doesn't matter what your platform is. XML is platform independent, and these API calls use XML. We'll talk about that more when we cover, but you're right, on the money. So there are all these problems with this app. It's a very, very risky application. Comparing to selling Indian clothes online, this is 10 times more risky because of all these issues. And the moment you have a risky application, you will gravitate towards spiral model. Yeah. I have a feeling that this class is a bit too long. I think 2 hours 45 minutes later, some people start fidgeting. You know who some people are. They're like, okay, I just want this class to get over. Why not? It's too much to absorb. Yeah, I know. Got it. Okay, I think we should call it quits. I'll leave 7 minutes for question and answers. And we'll, huh? We'll start from here tomorrow. Spiral model, because we hardly got started. But again, OneLook is a good project for you to just think about and maybe use it in one of your projects, like Andrea Fernandez did. Any questions, guys? Madhavi.
In today's homework, the last year.
Oh yeah, full join. I was just saying, yeah, show me all the teachers and all the classes and who teaches what. But don't miss any class or any teacher. I thought you still got it right.
And show the relationship.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That's not a very well worded homework. And show me, Control Z, show me who teaches what class. There we go. But the keyword was all the classes and all the teachers. So I think you already got it right. Full. Okay, when is this homework due? That's what I'm thinking. Today's 16th class, no? 8.1, and this is sitemap. Guys, I really request you guys to please follow it like this, month, date. Some guys are still giving me 01, 07, 09 or 10. I want the dates to always be like this. Like today's homework, you should give me as 01, 07, 2010. Some of you guys are doing this. Some of you guys are doing this. I just want it to be like this. Just thank you. What else? Rajiv. What is the definition of test requirements? Bills?
Builds are just like whatever build parameterization after coding, you release the build, the test requirement, that will just get
Test requirements. Test.
People name the test.
The requirements that you have to test. The requirements that you have to test are the test requirements, testing requirements. I don't know. It has to be in a document for me to make sense out of it as to what exactly does that question mean. Because a test is a test and requirements are requirements. But when you join the two words, then I need to, where did you see it? Can you show it to me? On your resume? Yeah. Remove it then from your resume. It's the easiest thing. I think Jyoti and Kusuma and Rashmi are very keen on starting their resume preparation. I guess I've already started. Already gave it. Maybe next class, still a bit early, but I think if you guys are really starting to work on it, then I can spend maybe half an hour tomorrow to talk about some of the aspects of resume preparation so that everybody can benefit from it. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it is quite an effort. But you can either make it like, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis mode, because the more you keep thinking about it, there'll never be an end to it. You'll never be happy with what you made. You eventually have to say, this is what I'm going out with. Good question. Makes sense. So what Rashmi said for people on the phone is that when you put something on your resume that you say that you implemented this feature, then the most obvious question is, but this is such an old thing. How come this company was doing it now in 2008 or 2009? We can always defend that. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah.
I was trying to find online whether what was the timeline for this particular.
That's a very good idea to do it, yeah. Ever. You haven't even joined this class a month. It hasn't been a month since you joined. Or you mean to say you were doing it even before you joined this class? Okay, after coming here, good. Excellent.
I was about to do it, but
yeah, okay. So tomorrow, see you guys. I don't have any samples of sitemap. This is the first time I'm doing it here, but I have to, that reminds me I should send you this homework list. Right. That teamf1.com sitemap is pretty good, the one that he showed. And then Wells Fargo sitemap is pretty good. So those are two examples. So a latest homework document. Book? One sec, Himani. Hi, Himani.
Hi Alok, I have a couple of questions. First, this is my first class, so I don't have the previous material. I do have lectures till the 13th class. You sent it up to the orientation. So could you please also send the lectures for the 14th, 5th and the 15th class so I can follow up? And what about the previous homeworks? I have not done any of the homework, so can I get a list of the homework that everybody did so I can follow up with that?
Are you in my list? Himani Sharma, tools, address book. Check. Okay. So you're not. So let me first of all add you. So you'll start getting him. Okay. Okay. All right. So now you asked me. Let me answer those questions one by one. So write email to him. Old stuff.
I have till the 13th class, but 14, 15, and if you can send today's class too.
Definitely. So Imani, I think most of the people know this, but since you're new, I'm letting you know. I work best with email. I can't right now send it anyways because I have to do something with these presentations. I have to make them in a manner that will run on your machine. I have to upload them to you, send it's like a half an hour task. So you send me an email about the things that you need, with, like you said, homework, old lectures, old homeworks and stuff like that. And I will send it to you as and when I get to that email. Hopefully, hopefully I get to email within like 5-6 hours of you sending it. Sometimes I get backed up, but yeah, definitely. This thing I can send you right away because I can. Other things, it takes me about half an hour to prepare it for you.
All right, no problem. So I'll just send an email with the list of information that I need. And because I'm planning to catch up everything by the weekend, so
Beautiful.
I'll try it.
Very nice.
All right, thanks, Alok.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hold on, Neha. Definitely, I will. Send me an email about it, and I'll definitely respond back to it. Yeah, Neha.
Alok, what was the unclarity with homework number 8? What were the students saying that the way
Right.
it's worded is not clear?
Right. The way I had my homework. Okay, so the joins.
Okay.
In the joins, I had said something like, show me the query that gives me the name of all the classes that we potentially offer and all the teachers that we have, and show me the relationship between teachers and classes. So I think I had not worded it right. What I'm trying to say was I just want a query that shows me this teacher teaches this class, and then this teacher teaches no class, and then this class is not taught by any teacher. So I was looking for a full join. I just did not phrase it well. So a couple of people in the class were confused about it.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
And then let's see. Anybody else had a question? Please raise your hand. Anybody else has a question? Please raise your hands. Even Wells Fargo used to have this one look service. Yes, I agree. I have seen that. Yodlee. Yodlee is that company that Rashmi was mentioning about bill payments. I agree. Then it's a headache remembering all the rights and passwords. Right, Madhu. Usually call function. Yeah, you're right, Shifali, about good definition. Cool. Okay, guys, any more questions? No? Okay. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.